arrived at Float 8 at Deerfield Beach. I'm going to go ahead and link all the information in the description box. And when you arrive, there's this really awesome meditation room where you can go in and set some intentions before your float. The atmosphere was just awesome. Then you're given your float steps, which is just a guide for you to use as far as when to insert your earplugs and take your pre-float shower. The first step is to use the restroom, and I'm really big on ambiance, and this place just had an awesome ambiance all around. As you can see, they collect art, and this is just their restroom here. For whatever reason, I didn't get any footage of the actual room. I did take some pictures, as you can see here, but I think I was just so focused on getting started that I didn't want to ruin the moment with just taking videos. But this is what it looks like to float. And once you're done with your float, you'll come out to this lounge where they have water, tea, some snacks, and they also have some journals where you can maybe journal about your experience, coloring books, affirmation cards, and this is just a time that you really just want to decompress and reflect on your experience in the tank. That was the most unique experience that I think I've ever had. I don't even know where to start. All I kept thinking about was the beginning scene of Baby Boy. I almost felt like that. Like I felt like I was in my mom's womb again and I was just floating. I know a lot of people see things or they have like visions. I didn't really have visions, but I had a lot of just thoughts in general. I would like alter between meditating and like focus on my breath and then just having random thoughts, or I would hear like random conversations. Like I remember out of nowhere it sounded like an old Dominican man was talking and I was just like, where in my consciousness do you live? I don't know. I feel like I have to like gather myself to fully explain what I felt, but insane. All right, I'm back. I'm filming this probably like 2 weeks later because I felt like I needed some time to like digest what that experience was like so that I can give you guys a full recap. So let's start from the beginning. When I booked the float tank, I went on Yelp and I just went for somewhere that had really good reviews. And the session for an hour was about $60 to $80. When you book your session, they'll send you an email and it will say, okay, here are things that you should do or shouldn't do before your float session. Pay attention to that. Number one, you don't want to shave your legs, ladies, before you go into the tank, because imagine if you shave your legs when you went to the beach, it's gonna burn, and the water in the tank has so much salt that that's something I forgot to do. And the minute that I put my toe in, I was like, nope, my legs were burning. Don't straighten your hair because you're gonna be in the water. And if you're particular about like your conditioners and things like that, definitely bring like a little carry-on bag with your toiletries or whatever the case is. Like I said before, it's unlike something that I've ever done, so I can't compare it to anything. But it is true sensory deprivation, so you can't hear, smell, see, taste, or feel anything. And if you're looking for a way to completely disconnect from everything, it is something that I would suggest because you're really just by yourself. I had some people tell me what their experience was like, and some people like see things or they hear things or they have like these big revelations. And I don't think that's something that I had, but mainly for the fact that I was too busy anticipating it. You know, just like in life in general, you're like so anxious about something, you're putting so much pressure on something to go the way that you want it to go. It might not happen because maybe you doing all of that ruined the way that it naturally should have went. While I was in there, I was kind of thinking to myself like, man, I'm not seeing anything or I'm not hearing anything. And I think that kind of, I won't say ruined the experience, but it did change, could have changed possibly the outcome. So it was just like a little lesson for myself, you know, like relax, let things happen in a way that they need to. And maybe when I do my next float session, things will be different. Who knows? The one con that I will say about it was that if you suffer from any type of motion sickness, which is strange because I usually don't, but I really felt like I was moving a lot faster in the tank than I was. The tank is pretty small. There's no way for me to float horizontally. So like You'll float sometimes from side to side, but it's not like your whole body is gonna change. But for whatever reason, that's what I felt. Like, you know those movies of people in space and they're like kind of flipping and they're just going all over? There were a few times where I felt like that's what I was doing, even though I knew that it was impossible. And I would have to like touch like the side of the pod to be like, all right, you're not moving, like you're right here. And yeah, that was like the only negative thing. Even after, when I was done, I went to go eat and I went to the beach. And when I was laying out on the beach, I still felt like I was just kind of floating. Aside from that, it really is an experience that I do suggest. It's completely unique. So if you've never done anything like this, you're looking for a way to like really disconnect, meditate, do it as a date with somebody, you know, just something that's so different, I highly suggest it. It's not something that I feel like I need to do constantly. Like, I want to do it again, possibly before the new year, just so I could feel like I'm starting the year fresh and I have just a way to disconnect and set my intentions for the year. But it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I have to do it again. I did feel extremely relaxed that day, and I also was exhausted. So if you're scheduling this, like say you schedule to do this in the morning, don't expect that like right after you're gonna be ready to go to a party or something, because I was so drained. You know when you go to the beach for the entire day and you come home and you're just exhausted? Well, all the minerals and the salt and the sand, it's exactly like that. So another tip, don't book that and expect to have plans later on. I think I may have covered the basics of it, but if you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you've done it before or if you're looking forward to doing it, let me know what your experience was like, because I'm looking forward already to my next one. And thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, share with your friends, like, comment, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in my next video.